And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Factorio, DeathWorld with Bob's Mods. Well, it's time to look at our power. Sure, we've got enough power now, but our base is relatively sleeping. I've done a little bit of research so that the red and greens are sort of catching up, but for the most part, our base is asleep right now. But let's wake it up, and in doing so, get us some more power. So I want some of these great solar panels and a handful of the top level accumulators. We're going to wander over here, kind of cut through the base and the beautiful little gem area. And we're going to build our first solar farm. And in doing so, really ramp up how much we can actually produce, because power right now is fairly limited. We could expand this area. I've got quite a bit of fuel being pumped into this, and you can see I've actually expanded the steam engines from the original 10. Now that we're up to like Mark III boilers, I've expanded the original 10 to go out quite a ways further. And it's a good power system, reliable, but if you run low on fuel, the death spiral is very real that you hit. So our giblet situation is pretty extreme. I did a tour around our base, and we have just tens and tens of thousands of giblets that we need to process. But in order to get out there and get them, I'm going to need either 20,000 bots or some really good power armor with shields to run out there and grab what I need. So I don't really have that yet. So this solar I've used in several of my series. I really like it. Not sure why. It just is symmetrical, it provides a lot of power, and it's modular. So the basics are, you want 4 main regular Mark I substations, or the substations that appear in the vanilla game. In the middle, you put a 4x4 area of solar power. And on the outsides, in the middle here, the 2 space that takes up, you want to put accumulators. It's easier to like click and walk than it is to actually click and drag. Okay, those are being charged up. Now we want 4 solar on this side, and then 1 more to cover the entire space, and then 3 in the corner here. You could put 4, but I want to leave enough room for walking, so we put a accumulator there instead to be able to like cut that corner. So the accumulators come out, and then we put some more solar. And you just, this whole bank right here is just packed. And let's go up here. Yeah, my game is lagging a little right now. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the mass killing of all of the biters around our base. If we look at the map here, all of these turrets are constantly being engaged. So I think, you know, the game is really struggling to keep those engaged, to, you know, do the aiming and the firing and all of that stuff. There we go. And the last bit that you need is some long poles, and you put them kind of on the kitty corner, like right here, and that connects everything up just fine. So Our steam power just plummeted when we hooked that up because we don't need as much steam anymore because solar takes the priority. But, you know, as you can see, our usage is going, or our performance is going down because it's becoming nighttime. The other thing that we need with this design is an extra bank of accumulators. And you can line these up pretty easily. I go 2 out and then just fill in with accumulators, and that rounds it out. I'm using shift to place like a shadow copy. That way my bots will build it for me. Oh. And then the rest I can probably just place myself. Except for that. That, there, and then the last one. And then one more power down here will connect both of those up. And that will kickstart them, get them all built and balanced. And now we've massively increased our capacity for power generation, which is really what we want. And I also put lights in mine. I need a place to craft these lights. So now when I include them in blueprints, or if they get destroyed, they will automatically get replaced. So let's see. That's just basically iron and a couple circuits, I think. Yeah, a little bit of iron and some basic circuits. I'm not sure if I covered this at all before, but I augmented copper. I have a whole other copper setup up here. I was getting really tired of being so out of copper. And so now my big bottleneck is iron. So I'm pulling off of this copper up here, pushing it into a bank of 20 of these cobalt cobalt areas, and then just feeding it into the main copper line down here. That way, trying to make sure copper is full, because we were using a lot of copper. So that pretty much kick-started my base again. All my solar panels and accumulators had to be replaced. And let's see, all my extra solar panels, I got 40 extra. Let's put them in here. That way, when we blueprint that and produce it, it'll just dump the remaining back out into the chest, which is what we want. I also got nitinol going. I did the quick research, and now my nitinol up here, I had this set up already. The supply was already set up, and so now I just kickstarted these on, and they've been producing. They do 25 at a time, so it's pretty nice and even. I need to get the nitinol gears and everything working, and my gear production is kind of, or my bearing, I should say, my bearing production is kind of hokey. I have titanium bearings up here because they require lubricant. So that's the only real big issue there, is they require lubricant. So I'm thinking maybe down here we want to do a bearing manufacturing for nitinol bearings, because I'm pretty sure these ceramic bearings also take lubricant. So nitinol bearings, we need nitinol plate and bearing balls. So let's get that set up. Just produce, this will request nitinol right here. Let's get more than 200. I want nitinol here, and I need a extendomatic one. Express long, I've got one already, so I can do that. So this will be nitinol bearing balls. Steel nitinol. There it is. Okay, so these go out into a chest. A lot of people bust these, and I commend them for it. I really do. It's not an easy thing to bust all of Bob's. So let's limit this to 5 blocks. It's a big consumer of nitinol. So this thing is just cruising. Look at that. Okay. So ceramic is the last part, and I know we've got a bunch of ceramic stuff going somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Silicon nitride right there. And so we've got a production of it. So let's see if we can do just a little 1, 2, 3, and get some of the bigger substations now that we're not needing too many. Just like that. So this will be ceramic bearings. And Bob's materials. There it is. Ceramic bearings. This will be ceramic balls. So same sort of setup. These need the silicon nitride, and these also need the silicon nitride. So let's see if we can find that really quick. Sodium silicon nitride. I want more than 100. In, and over. It's like that. And these, I also only want like 5. It's like that. And now we should be pulling quite a bit of lubricant. These produce pretty fast. So our lubricants, our oil situation is pretty nice. I had to add a couple light oil crackers. We were producing pretty fast, so I had to add a couple of those. But they're still gated, so they still only produce. They only crack when we have more than 500 light oil. Nice, even setup like that. So there's our nitinol gear or bearings, and there is our ceramic. One thing that we might want to do down here is take advantage of the fact that we've got the supply and produce the gears for these materials. So there's the nitinol gear, and I don't know, is there a ceramic gear? I guess there's no ceramic gear, so that's good. One less thing to worry about. And here again, we want to limit to 5. Just like that. So that pretty much probably consumed all of our nitinol. And a crap ton of our ceramic. So if we look at our ceramic, yeah, we're using it pretty fast. So let's go look at nitinol and see how much we use there. Quite a bit. You can see it just dies. All right. What do we want to tackle next? I do need to do the blue circuits, but I just did circuits. That is a brutal process. Let's see if we can try to automate some of the little things. Like we have lights that we can automate. I can do that right here. What is this? Cobalt steel. Don't use much of that, I don't think. So let's take this iron, and I want iron rods, because these are the lights. So iron stick, iron, and basic electronic board. Not sure if I have those basic boards into the system. So these are going to be lights. And for lights, I want the basic electronic board. See if those are, I guess those are in the system. Awesome. Helps me out quite a bit. And these are going to get output. And we don't want many of these. So like that. And let's substation it up. And we have lights again. So that is great. So now if, you know, those extreme biters on our wall will destroy a light, it will automatically get replaced. This seems to be going okay. I'm sure that if we had a ton of research going, this would melt away pretty fast. All right. So we've got gears up here. So these are titanium gears. I'm holding on to those. The brass gears. I'm pretty sure these are steel gears, but I'm not putting those into a chest, am I? Yeah, I'm not. I should be. Let's limit that to 4. It's like that. Because I'm putting the bearings in a chest, the steel bearings, but not the gears. I want all those middle, you know, these kind of crafting materials to be in a chest somewhere in case I need to pull them for another crafting process. So yeah, I do want to start on modules only because I want to start researching the power armor. The chain for power armor uses modules not only as their requirements but also in their crafting. So I'm going to need some modules in order to get further. I'm already working on, I've already got some material for these advanced science packs because I've started producing the bigger alien artifacts from the smaller ones. So when I go out and collect just the tens of thousands of artifacts that are out there, that there's a place for them to go and get converted. See, right over here, we've got a nice little line for all of the artifacts. We don't have many. Surprisingly, we don't have many, but only because I haven't been collecting just the sheer amount that are out there already. I really need to go and start collecting because there are so many artifacts. They start creating these cool little patterns when they drop. So you get these neat little patterns of the artifacts depending on what, you know, enemies. There's probably a whole lot of randomness that goes involved. But I noticed up here, this pattern that formed, it started producing this like cone or pyramid of, you know, multicolored versus just mostly pink. So it started creating this cool little pattern. I wanted to show that off before I collected so many of these. But that'll have to do it for this episode. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.